Howdy, friends and neighbors. This is Lonely Gal for You, GMO Christian's mom, coming to you live from Sherman Oaks, California. And I know you guys who are Christian subscribers, GMO subscribers, have noticed he hasn't been making any videos. And the reason being is that he's been very, very busy trying to cram a whole year's worth of online school into 2 months. Christian was going to public school. He went to public school until, well, just recently, 2 months ago, we pulled him. What happened was, there was a few things that made us pull him from school, but I noticed a pattern, and I was watching what the school district was doing, and it started when Christian was in third grade. In third grade, I took him to school one day, and Christian didn't want to go to school. It was after a dentist appointment. And he was like, Mom, I don't want to go to school today. Can I just stay home with you? I said, no, Christian, you have to go to school. So I took him into the office, and I was informed by the principal, because Christian was crying, that I should just leave and she would handle it. And I was like, okay. So I left. Well, if the principal ever tells you to leave and they'll handle it, don't leave. Say, no, I'll handle it. It was my mistake not to. What happened after that was I got a letter, came home from school in an envelope that said that we would like to put Christian in some behavioral counseling. And at the time I was like, okay, because I couldn't afford it, and I was fighting cancer, and Christian had a lot of emotional issues with possibly fearing the loss of his mother, and he had some anger and some outbursts. Well, what I didn't know about until just this week was what the principal did to Christian, because we never spoke about this. Christian informed me that after I left the office, that she tried to grab him, and he said, get your hands off of me, and she pinned him to the floor and held him down until, I don't know what he did, but basically they created a file on him and stuck the file into the LAUSD school system. And, you know, a behavioral issue, no matter where it stems from the loss of a parent, from an illness, or, you know, just troubles at home, period, is really, you know, I think they went a little overboard on scheduling this behavioral counseling, and it's my mistake that I opted for it, because I'm the one that ended up causing my son to be, let's just say, you know, the paper goes in the folder, right? You get a gifted paper, it goes in the folder. You're gifted in this, goes in the folder. You're a troublemaker, behavioral problems, goes in the folder. So everything was fine. We pulled him out of that school and put him into a new school, and everything was going great. He had a great fourth grade year, and then came the fifth grade year. Now his fifth grade teacher, there was no connection. I just didn't see. I had no vibe towards this teacher. And she had issues with Christian. As you all know, Christian went to New Mexico in October and November, and he shot a movie called Bless Me Ultima, which will be coming out in 2012. And during that time, his teachers did not comply, did not give me the schoolwork, did not set him up on the independent study, and they were very nasty to him, so that when he returned, they were threatening to take his career from him, threatening to take his acting, which he loves so much. And he was handed a bunch of work, even though I had printed school sheets for him. They gave him all the work to make up. So Christian was like struggling to catch up on all this work, and he caught up. Now, Christian recently found out that he's got another movie to go shoot. And so we're going to be going over to Berlin, and we'll be over there for 6 weeks shooting a movie for a #1 author over there, and it's a really great opportunity. But the fact is had I told the school that Christian was going to go, they would have said no, and they would not have renewed his work permit, because they don't like acting. But the other reason that Christian was pulled from school is I was brought in by the teachers. They called me in, and they told me that Christian was being inappropriate. Now, I keep a very close eye on my son, and I watch everything that he does. And from what they were telling me in the office, it was suspicious. And they were saying that Christian was using certain vocabulary that he's never used. Christian will say F word, B word, A word, but he doesn't say the words, right? But they were saying that Christian was walking around making sexual innuendos, which Christian does not make sexual innuendos, whether he's going through puberty or not. The most he ever said was, "Mom, I think I want to kiss a girl." He's very honest with me. But the school said that they would suspend him if he did anything else inappropriate. And Christian was in the office crying. And mind you, never had any issues. All of a sudden this shows up. Well, to make a long story short, we found out that the inappropriate one was Christian's friend. And when the teachers had gone to him to say, what does Christian do? He told on himself, but blamed it on Christian. And also, Christian was caught in the library looking at a puberty book, and he got in trouble for that. Which you have to wonder, why would you have the book in the school if you don't want the children to read it? So, my concern was that Christian had another piece of paper put into his file saying now Christian's inappropriate. And they were saying he was being sexually inappropriate. So to make a long story short, I yanked him out of school. I started homeschooling him. So for the last 2.5 months, 3 months, he's been cramming, because in order to get through homeschool, it's an online program. You have to do all the studies. So he's been doing assessments and just really working his butt off to get prepared to go to Germany and to be prepared for the state testing that's going on in May. Now, what I found interesting is that Christian was in a magnet program, which is an accelerated learning program. And in the class he's now in, on the online school, he is telling me, we never learned this, Mom. We never learned this, Mom. We never learned this, Mom. I'm like, well, then what the hell did you learn? So there is a real concern of mine what they are indoctrinating into the schools, because they are not teaching them proper history. They are not teaching them proper math. They are teaching them a new way of doing math. So then when it comes to us trying to teach our children math, there's a whole new way of doing it. So we look stupid, and then we start confusing our children. So I just kind of wanted to put a heads up out there that I don't believe in the process of no child left behind. I believe that the schools are so overcrowded with students and less teachers that there's no time for one-on-one. I also believe that if your child misses a subject and isn't able to comprehend it, that they don't go back and teach him. And that just might be at Los Angeles Unified School District. But it's pretty sad. And I see it as no child succeeding. I see all children being left behind, because if they're going to keep doing budget cuts and cutting out more teachers and enlarging class sizes, they won't be learning anything. And furthermore, no one will ever make a file on my child, okay? Because I know all about being in the system, because I was there once. And it's not going to happen to my kid. So, yep, it's been hard. I don't have a job, as you know, and I don't work because I'm still dealing with some issues with a disability in my shoulder from my reconstruction of my breast cancer. So it's been a little difficult, and my son has been really grateful to me, and he's helped me pay my rent. He's only 11, and he's helped me pay my rent, which is sad. But we do what we have to do to survive, and it's heartbreaking to watch. It's just heartbreaking to see such a smart kid be steered in so many wrong directions, and to be beat down by a school system, and just to be threatened by teachers, and just to see that the teachers aren't there anymore to help teach. The teachers are there for their paycheck. And that's what I'm seeing, because when I pulled him out of school, we didn't tell anybody that I was homeschooling him. And one of his friends called him and said, "You're not coming back, are you?" And he said, "Why?" And he said, "Because I was in the office today and they were talking about you, and they were very mad, and they ripped your folder up and threw it in the garbage." Yeah, I'm sure they were really mad that they lost their $22,000 a year on my student. Guess what? I'm teaching him for free, and he's learning way more. I'm using the California Virtual Academy K through 12 program. It's awesome. It's difficult, but it's awesome. But he is retaining so much more now. And he says he's going to make a video really soon. Well, and another thing, I was being called in every week because he was screaming in the cafeteria about the modified foods and the processed foods and the PCBs from the plastics. So, it was one less headache. And, just to let you know about that school lunch program, which they're trying to make everybody now have the school lunch program, which is a scam. All right, in Christian school, they said, please, even if you don't want it, fill the paperwork out. You know why? Because they want the funding. That's all they want. The school lunch menu says we're having chicken. The school lunch menu says they're having ground beef. The school lunch menu says they're having vegetables. The school lunch menu for one solid week was freaking pizza. I confronted the school. Boy, they were shocked. Yeah, I'm a mom that read the menu. So, you know, if you're having problems with your kid in school, I'd say if you're in California, or I would go check out this program because, and do it fast because, you know, middle school arrives and if these children aren't ready, it can be very overwhelming. And I can't say that I'm going to keep him home next year and homeschool him. We'll just see how that goes. But as of right now, he is being homeschooled. We're looking for a smaller residence so that I can continue being his teacher. We're going to move into a 1-bedroom. We have a 2-bedroom now, but we don't use the living room ever. I sit in here and do my videos. Christian's in his room doing his school on his computer or playing his video game or doing whatever he's doing. But again, we don't need all the space, and it's really getting ridiculous with the amount of money that we're putting out when they're not repairing anything. So I see a lot of things deteriorating. This is my baby Cracker laying here. She's my baby girl. And she's like a big baby. She just wants her mama and some love. But yeah, so we just wanted to give you a heads up. He'll be coming back and he'll be making a video pretty quick, and we'll be shooting some video from Berlin. We're really excited. It's going to be an awesome experience. He's been chosen to be the lead in a psycho-thriller drama, and I can't give you too much more information, but it's a #1 best-selling book in Germany, and it's already been picked up for distribution in Europe and Germany, and he'll be starring across from some A-list actors, and we're just blessed by God that this happened because I prayed to him to see what we should do, because I know that we need to get out of Los Angeles, and we plan on doing that as soon as I get back from Germany. We're going to at least get out of the city and go up into the mountains just so that we're close enough to get down into the city for what we need, but we don't feel like living down here anymore, because I see a definite problem with the rising gas and with the just the price of food, and with Obama talking about all these other cuts that he's going to make. And because Los Angeles has so many people on food stamps and on assistance right now, I can only see it getting very ugly if they pull part of these programs. So we're preparing. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you've lost your mind. Well, you know what? I may have lost my mind, but I'll be regaining it when I get to a much more serene and relaxed environment than what I'm living in now. So God bless all of you. We leave May 12th. Ooh, right before Judgment Day. Oh. So, if there is a Judgment Day, bless all of you, and hey, we'll see you on the other side, right? Because you know that's where we're going to be meeting. Have a good day.